Isn't he a cutie? Oh. Hello and welcome to my list of games that I have played in 2021 so far. Obviously, because I'm a Pepega and I have a smooth brain, this list is not chronologically listed. What was that sentence? So not every game that I list in a row is played in that order. That's pretty much what that means. Some games on this list were played with the Xbox Game Pass. So I pretty much paid a one-time fee for the subscription and played like 4 games or 5 or 6 this month. So everything that I say sometimes, take it with a grain of salt. Obviously a game is much better, or well, I feel like a game could be much better if you don't pay for it, right? Because you got it for free. Oh, that's so great. This amazing game. But it's actually meh if you pay 20 bucks for it. So keep that in mind. Timestamps are in the description and in the pinned comment down below. So if you want to jump to a specific game or want to check out which games I'm going to talk about, go check that out. Have fun, future Daniel, creating those timestamps. All this stuff aside, you're here for the video games, right? Let's just jump into it. Sea of Thieves. Alone it is probably very boring, and in a team of 2 it was quite fun, but long-term progression is what? Weapons, swords and everything you can buy are skins and are just visually different. No damage upgrades anywhere to be found. So in my short playtime I have not seen the long-term progression and appeal, beside hunting other players or finding loot on islands. I can't recommend the game at this point, but do look into the game with a group of friends if this is something interesting to you. This game is available with the Xbox Game Pass. Monster Sanctuary. Here is what I commented on the video from Ingenious Clown. Just tried this game yesterday and God, I was bored after just 1 hour. Generally, it seems like an okay game with an interesting concept. Metroidvania and hatching your own monsters could be fun, but slow combat, lots of menuing, and overall bland world with no proper lighting makes this game feel lifeless. Also, for 20 euros, this is expensive. Glad I tried it through the Xbox Game Pass. So if you didn't understand what I just said, the game is bad. Do not buy it. Oh, it's Metroidvania and Pokemon. This is great. No. No. It's bad. No. Drake Hollow. Difficult not to spoil or something, so let me say, don't get comfortable with the world you are in. So building some sort of railway system to quickly move around is bad. I don't see the appeal of the game and stopped playing. So this is actually really bad script that I wrote, so bad Daniel. So brief thing, what is Drake Hollow? It's kind of like a base builder, but also a little bit of like Pikmin, I would say. So you have your little base where you place things. So like a bed and food and water and stuff. And why do you place this? Well, you have your little Pikmins, your little hollows or whatever they're called. I don't even remember, like 6 months later. I deleted this game out of my memory as quickly as possible. And yeah, they need this, they need the water and food and blah blah, and they need to sleep and rest. But you still need to go out. And going out is dangerous because there's like this black fog void thing. If you go into it, you take damage, so you find ways to circumvent that, so you can continue exploring. It's kind of a cool concept, but like I said, I can't spoil it too much, but do not get comfortable with the world you're spawning in. And after that, I was like, why would you even put this into the game at that price? Because this railway system, which is kind of cool because you pretty much jump on and railway your way through the world that you can like explore, if you place those things accordingly. Similar to Infamous. It really reminded me of Infamous. I loved it. But the problem is, don't get too comfortable. It's not a good game. I wouldn't. If you can try it out, go try it out, but get ready maybe to get disappointed. There's that. Deep Rock Galactic didn't hook me in any way. Overall, looks like a good game and also a fun game to play in a group. So go check it out if you want. Also in the Xbox Game Pass. So yeah, Deep Rock Galactic is difficult to say. I think it's just, you are a dwarf as far as I remember. You go into like these areas and have to dig your way through or go through the cave that is already there, and I guess have to find the loot, which is sometimes, I guess, money or crafting materials. I think you can, somewhat upgrade maybe your items or something. Has a little bit of Team Fortress vibes. I couldn't really like grip into one thing and I'm like, yes, I love this. Let me play this. You know, it's like, it's kind of weird. It's definitely a fun game. I do not know why it didn't hook me. It might be that it's a very co-op based game, right? Because you're alone in this cave, you're going around until the monsters attack, and then you have to like defeat the monsters. So, by the way, if you're scared of insects, like big insects, as big as your screen, Grounded, for example, if you hate that game, you might not want to play that game. You might not want to play Deep Rock Galactic because they're monsters. They're gonna crawl. We're in a cave. They're gonna crawl from above. It's very cool. I like that. But it's like, what am I actually doing here? You know, it's like, what's the long-term progression? I don't know. Maybe I just didn't get it. I might actually, maybe I'm gonna try it out on stream. Plug. Follow me on twitch.tv/DanielBR93. Thank you so much. Darkest Dungeon. Nope. I literally wrote nope in my script. Too punishing, and I saw nothing that makes you stronger. I'm not into games that punch me in the face over and over and over, and I have to learn to dodge or block it. No, thank you. Haven. I appreciate games like Flower on the PS3 that released many years ago, 2009. But this game also has co-op combat in which you need to control both characters when you play alone at the same time. Which is quite intense compared to the chill game that it was before. Seems more like a co-op game with your girlfriend, boyfriend, than a game you play alone in your room with your lights off. So yeah, jokes aside, it was a very nice game. I like the visual. It's very, very, very comfortable, you know, and how it's presented. It's just a very much it's not a tech demo. It's a bit more. And that's not really a game I want to play, right? I want to play a proper game with content and not like some sort of tech demo with cutscenes. There aren't even cutscenes, to be honest, as far as I remember. No, they're not cutscenes. They're like dialogue things, you know, and they are talking and they're animated. So that's kind of cool, right? Like I said, probably not me. Probably not a game for me. Go check it out if you can at some point. If you're single and hate your life, I guess. I don't know. Jokes aside, I do like the characters. It's very cute how they're like interacting with each other. You know, they are a pair. You know, so it's very cute. It's very cute that way. Inside, from the makers of Limbo. So my expectations were high, like about this high. About this high, I would say. Yeah, and they were met. Whoa! It isn't a long game, but it was very enjoyable. Puzzles weren't too difficult, and you may finish the game in a couple hours. I did play this with the Xbox Game Pass, so it was free. I feel like it's a bit better than Limbo. It has like, I guess, better control. It's really good. It's really goddamn good. It is very artistic. It has. I love the graphics. I love the style. I love the music. The goddamn that ending, bro. Holy heck. Yes, please play it. It's very short. It's like 3 hours. I'm pretty sure you can just sit down, and if you're not like a papega, you know, doing puzzles, you could probably like burst through it in like, I don't know, probably half a Sunday or something. Wolfenstein Young Blood. Weird co-op game that is brutally difficult. I died 5 times in 10 minutes. Don't tell me in the comments I suck. That's just a game. It's really difficult. I was in some mission with some person. It's really weird, so maybe only play it with a friend of yours. And if you don't know what Wolfenstein Young Blood is, you might see gameplay right now on screen. It's just, you know, it's an FPS shooter, and I guess it's very focused on the co-op part of this Wolfenstein franchise world, whatever the hell it is, you know. No. Timespinner. All right, now we're getting to the good games. Fun, quite short and straightforward for a Metroidvania. It takes a lot of inspiration from Castlevania, and you can feel it. In 3.5 hours of playtime, I saw 1 ending, and there are 3 endings. So keep in mind, I write these scripts pretty much as they're happening, or pretty much right after my gaming session, all right? So I finished the game in 3.5 hours. Couple hours later, 7.4 hours into this game, I finished a New Game Plus run and had the pleasure of meeting 5 new bosses. If you accept a bit of backtracking and doing some quests, you will surely enjoy this game a whole lot more because there is more to discover. Seriously, it's a good game. It's nice. It takes some inspiration. I'm pretty sure you saw like some pictures here and there. It is published from Chucklefish, and usually Chucklefish games, or the ones they, publish, are usually of a higher standard, I would say, than some other indie games out there. So they know what's good. This is a good game. It is very short though, so I don't know if it's actually just one guy who made this game, or if it's a very small team. I'm guessing it's a small team. Team Cherry is also a small team, and look at that game. But they also took the 5 years, I think, to make Hollow Knight, so there's that. Either way, Timespinner, really good. Go play it if you like Metroidvanias, maybe more in the Castlevania kind of style. It has some sort of RPG system, I think, and the fighting also feels very, like, sometimes heavy, and I think you can even, like, animation cancel it a little bit, like in Castlevania games, as far as I remember, so go check it out. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Surprisingly, a really fun 3D Metroidvania. Never seen Star Wars, but that doesn't bother me too much. Story was easy to follow, your robo sidekick is cute. Overall, an enjoyable game, but only 10 to 15 hours of game time. It is a very fun Metroidvania. It's so funny to see Star Wars, this sci-fi thing with goddamn lightsabers, and you're like traversing this sometimes quite a big map. Like, it's quite big. It's not, like, thankfully, like, closed off in instances. So you can't traverse the whole thing. I mean, not everything, of course. There's different planets, or I think different areas. But still, overall, very cool, very open. The 3D map is always like, I think it's good. I think the 3D map is good. Keep in mind, it's a 3D game. You need a map. How do you, translate that? Well, you kind of have to, like, do the whole Metroid Prime thing. Anyways, it's really fun how it's a Metroidvania, because you get abilities, you get a bit stronger. He's a Jedi, so he can, like, I think, like, pull or push stuff or something like this. And I don't know if you can do this at the beginning or not. Either way, there are a couple upgrades. I really like it. It gives you this sense of progression. There are some secret, very dangerous bosses that, also drop loot that help you, it's so good. It's like a really solid game. And of course, you have the cutscenes that are fully animated and voice acted, and the game actually looks really pretty as well. I can't really remember the soundtrack too much. I'm guessing because, Star Wars is so new to me. I'm sure some people heard little things in the soundtrack that is like, oh, I know this from this movie. I personally don't. Overall, I had a good experience, a really good experience playing the game. Dragon Quest XI S. Good, fast, and orchestral soundtrack is great. There are 3 acts which might take you longer or shorter, depending on how active and smart you play. I have finished Act 2 in about 30 hours, and to finish Act 3, I would have to grind, and I stopped. At some point, it just wasn't fun anymore, and I stopped playing after around 35 hours. I had some great fun and might look into the next upcoming games of this franchise, but I will most likely not finish Act 3 because farming in this game is just not so fun. But I have found a new enjoyment in JRPG games that I thought I don't have anymore. So maybe I will play more JRPG games in the future if they are similar to this game. I don't think I can add much to this, what I wrote down. It's literally that. It's a very, 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 very long game with lots of surprises, and I personally am a huge fan of it. It is a really solid JRPG. There is a ton of content. There are lots of characters you can switch around, as far as I know. Yeah, you can switch from, you have like, I think you have 7 characters, but you only can have 4 in your party. So you can like mix and match however you want, give them outfits. I was happily surprised, me playing like a couple hours already, and I'm like, I'm enjoying a JRPG. What's happening? Because the last JRPG, and I don't even know what it was so bad I apparently deleted it off my memory. Yeah, I'm not a JRPG fan, but this game was actually fun because you constantly feel, the progression, leveling up, finding new items, new upgrades, new armor. There is a skill tree, and some characters the skill tree changes. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, go check it out. Monster Train. Really fun, but I don't really know what I'm working towards after the first 3 to 4 hours. What is the long-term goal of the game? This is something that I'm missing in the game, which keeps me going. So maybe I'm a little bit too harsh on this game when I wrote that, to be honest. It is a very fun Slay the Spire clone. No, I'm not gonna say this. Slay the Spire, Monster Train is Monster Train. They have their own little things, their own little twists and turns in the whole deck building rook-like genre, I think is it called. It's good. It's really, really fun. I think the music was also really good, but I can't remember it right now because it has been like many months already. I might check it. I might, play it again on stream, see how it is, why I was kind of harsh in that script, I gotta say, so I'm gonna check it out again because it's a good game, but it sounds like really negative how I wrote it. I mean, not every game needs a long-term goal, right, Daniel? Right? Stupid Daniel? Stupid? Rage 2, very solid sci-fi post-apocalyptic FPS open world game with a variety of abilities and weapons to find and upgrade. God, I hate this voice acting that I'm doing right now. Sadly, because of graphical glitches on my PC, I did not continue playing this game, but will very likely return to it soon and would very much like to finish it. So, I have played Rage 2, but I have not played through it, so keep that in mind. So maybe the ending is ass and everything else is ass, who knows. It's so cool to actually play a Rage game because I played Rage 1 back on the PlayStation 3. That has been, I think, 10 years now. About 10 years, maybe a little bit more. So, playing such a game also reminded me of Mad Max, which is an amazing game, by the way. It's so bloody good. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, give me more of that. Give me more post-apocalyptic sci-fi FPS games. Like, let's go. Like, let's do it. I want more. So I'm definitely going to check it out again. And of course, with every like open world game that comes out that has some budget, it looks great, right? Graphically, it looks good. Of course, if you can run it, that every time I say graphically it looks great, that is on my machine, right? That, like if you have like a really old machine or something, and it's like, oh, my machine is 8 years old and I have a graphics card from 8 years, just F, CARRION. Oh, CARRION? It's not carry on, like Mariah Carey. It's CARRION. Okay, dark, bloody Metroidvania in which you are the bad guy. You play the weird tentacle-like creature that is able to eat humans and destroy objects to get into vents. Kind of sus. Sneak around and much more. With 5 or so hours, it is quite short and very unique. With 20 euros on Steam, it is a bit higher, but I'm guessing the amount of work to make it look and feel this way must have been insane, because this game makes you feel like a hentai monster. Alright, demonetized. Perfect. I said the H word. CARRION was a very interesting game from the videos that I saw, where it is a Metroidvania where you upgrade as a monster. And I love that concept. I love that concept. I wish there would be more games where you are the monster and start to upgrade more and more. And it is a Metroidvania because there are certain things you can't go past unless you get the ability, So the abilities are kind of like the blockage, right? In typical Metroidvania style. It is so bloody good. It feels so bloody smooth. And God damn it, do I love it. I really hope there's a CARRION 2 because the ending is good. The ending is like, oh, that is what we have been working towards. Oh no, you are the bad guy after all. So really looking forward to what the developer overall, makes next. So really cool. I give this one a +1. Frostpunk. From the makers of War of Mine, we get another mentally draining game that pushes you to either let people die or let them live, but handicapped. Visually, it looks great, but it is very, very punishing that I lost interest in it very quickly. An easy mode to get into the game would be great, but these developers don't want that, which I accept. Similar to Hollow Knight, which is too difficult to some and has no easy mode either. So overall, Frostpunk is kind of like a base building kind of thing, I guess. And you constantly have to manage your resources, as in fuel, so the people, don't get cold and die. But on the other side, you also like put them out there in the cold to grab some metals or something, to bring back so you can build some stuff. And then they're like, oh man, like my husband, broke his leg and he can't use it right now. We need medical attention. Okay, then you build some medical stuff and then it's like, okay, cool. Now, medical issue. There was a bad doctor that just ripped the I don't know, the foot away from somebody. Well, now he's, you know, now he's handicapped. What do you want to do now, you know? So you can ignore them or you help them and kind of like, so they can still do something in society, and you're like, okay, well, let me do this. But then you get, you know, and you constantly have to manage like reputation of like, are you a good guy? Are you a good mayor? And all this stuff. It's like constantly like, oh, God damn it, you know, like every decision is like, I think every decision has a minus and a plus. And I feel like the minus is way heavier because maybe it's just, you know, us humans. Everything that is negative is like, oh no, God. And everything that's positive is like, okay, thanks. Reading YouTube comments as a YouTuber. Literally that. Anyways, good game. Go check it out. I just kind of like, it's not my game. It's just too punishing, right? I wish there would be an easy mode or something. And I feel like there is, maybe. Maybe I'm gonna check it out on stream. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. Black Desert on we are halfway through. Oh, this is the part of the script that has the least amount of words, okay? Black Desert Online. Played until I was around level 55, but got distracted by other games, and in the end, probably won't return to this game for a while. Gameplay and the world is great. Graphically, it is probably up there with the best looking MMO, but performance-wise, it is struggling with my 2070 Super. An MMO is probably not my style of game anymore. Or I think it never was, to be honest. I don't know why Daniel wrote this in the script. Either way, Black Desert Online. Its graphics awesome. The controls are awesome. There's no other MMO out there with this fluidity in combat that I'm missing in literally every MMO that I've played in the past 10, 20 years, whatever. Like tap targeting is dead. Let it die, you know? It feels so good to play, but it's like, if Path of Exile seems too large for you, do not play Black Desert Online. It is so bloody big with so many things to do because it is an MMO. It's a massive multiplayer online game. So there needs to be a lot of stuff in this game to, you know, make many people happy, but also have some sort of economy and everything. I think if I had more time, if I really let myself, you know, fall into this game, like really watch lots of videos, learn the game, then I might be able to get back into this game, like really. And if not, then that's just how it is. But it is, as far as I know, free to play. It's on Steam, so go get it if you want to. Just download it. I have to say, it's a lot of gigabytes, okay? And like I said, graphically it's struggling. It can look pretty, but then it's running like ass, more or less. Or it can look like meh, and it runs maybe better than meh. Either way, go check it out if you want. Path of Exile, Echoes of the Atlas, and Ritual League. Of course, I'm going to mention Path of Exile in this, you know. Obviously, you know, I'm a simp. And I love this game. Endgame expansion added another layer on top of the existing Atlas, which is the main part of finishing the story. The new boss is questionable sometimes in its attacks, but I do look forward fighting it. Sadly, the Ritual League was meh, and I ignored it after 2 weeks in. Ritual has now been added to the main game of Path of Exile. So yeah, everybody knows I play Path of Exile. I have a couple hours, you know, screenshot here. I have a couple hours, you know. And I played this, and I went back in harder and faster than I could, because a new endgame expansion has multiple things in Path of Exile. You have the story continues, you know, because we have the same story of the endgame for 1 year, and then something gets added for another year, right? And I'm really looking forward to this because I want to know more. I want to see where the story goes, right? It's like waiting 3 years for a sequel, and then the sequel could be good, and you're like, oh, you know, that's kind of me with Path of Exile every year when the endgame expansion comes out, which is Echoes of the Atlas, which we are in currently. And I really focused on playing that, and I really loved it. The Ritual League on the other side, I personally didn't like because of the league mechanic, how it works, because you have some sort of like inventory where it's pretty much a store, and you can grab things out of it if you have enough currency of something. And if you don't, well, screw you. Everything that was in that inventory, it's gone. See ya, you know? Kinda sucks. Either way, it has been added to the main game, so it's great. Aetherloop, quick to get into, very difficult bullet hell roguelike. Fun to experiment with various abilities and weapons, definitely for multiple game sessions. I don't know why I rolled it like this. I guess because some games are just, okay, I'm sitting down, I'm enjoying this, and that's it. You know, it's like a one-day game, kind of like a Sunday game. Italoop, I played multiple times. I started up multiple times. I think I played a lot of it also on stream. So yeah, go check it out. It's graphically, it's a bit on the weaker side, right? But it's a top-down bullet hell roguelike. It's quite fun. It's quite fun. ScourgeBringer, fun for multiple game sessions, but after the first 5 chapters, you have to replay everything to finish the true ending of the game. I stopped playing at that point, but it was very fun and quick to get into. So I think I also played ScourgeBringer on stream a couple months ago. Another rogue-like game, 2D. Beautiful art style. I think the music was really good. Like with most indie games, you know, they know how to make music now with certain games. I just, you know, I'm not gonna play through everything again to may die at the final boss or whatever the hell it is, you know, at the training. So I was like, okay, it's, you know, I'm kind of done, you know, but still, I got a lot of fun out of this game. I think for multiple days even. West of Dead, cool art style and roguelite, fun for a one-time sitting. That's pretty much everything I wrote down. Also played with the Xbox Game Pass. It was fun to jump into, like I said, the art style and the deep blacks and everything, and the whole cowboy kind of like style, and you have to like hide and then attack and then move around, and it's always also a roguelike, you know. It's I don't know what else to say. It's a good game, but I don't really feel like I want to play it again, right? It's like, all right, I tried this. Next. It Takes Two. Great in co-op. Graphics, music, and sounds, as well as controls, are all very good. Nice surprise seeing such a polished co-op game published by EA in 2020. I played this with my best friend for, I think, multiple game sessions. It's quite a long game, so you will be playing this, I think, for 10 plus hours or something, depending on if you're good, you know, if you're working well together or not, you know. But me and my best friend, like, you know, we're both gamers. So It Takes Two took, like, you know, like pretty much nothing. Like, we saw a puzzle and we're like, oh yeah, that's that. You know, like nearly instantly with a lot of puzzles at least. And it's really fun because It Takes Two also takes the whole thing. It takes the whole ability concept to a different thing. So you're pretty much in multiple worlds, and per world you get some sort of ability. That's, I think, how much I can say without spoiling too much. So it's very fun. It's very different each time you go into a new area and you're trying to figure out different things of the characters, and, you know, what is actually the story of the game? Well, It Takes Two is about two parents that do not like each other anymore. You know, they want to get divorced. They don't love each other anymore. And It Takes Two takes that. They get turned into dolls and a wooden puppet. Don't ask. And yeah, find out that, you know, it's actually quite fun together, you know, and just start loving each other again. So it's very, very cute. It's very fun. And yeah, just hope we will see more games like this, because I really hope, because it's a good game. It's a really good co-op game. And I think it actually got a lot of attention from Twitch streamers as well. Like, you know, it's a perfect game for Twitch streams, right? Like, oh, you and me collaboration? Let's go, bro. You know, like, it's perfect for that. So I really hope EA, you know, pumps a bit more money into those projects. I really hope. Because they do have the money selling their FIFA game for the 7,000th time. Hero Siege. Holy heck, this is good. Strong Diablo 2 vibes right from the start. A bit overwhelming at first, but most stuff is color-coded, so you easily know what is good or bad. Not as easy as Diablo 3, but also not as daunting as Path of Exile when it comes to figuring out good and bad items. And, you know, the overall game feel, you know, like oh my god, I have 4 items here, what is good, what is bad, you know. So the game is a little bit more casualized, right? But it's very fun. It's so bloody fun, Hero Siege. I played this actually many years ago, and it was, I think, actually just a game where you're in an arena and you have waves of enemies coming towards you. That's what I remembered. I guess they put now a whole, you know, story spin on things, and it works great. It works really good, you know. Things are randomized, the monsters are randomized, they have different abilities sometimes, they have different auras that buff them up and buff other things up, and you have like a skill tree that you can like choose to, you know, do things in. It's so good, and I think it's actually really cheap, so go check that out. Sheepo, very simple Metroidvania for a cheap price. Probably a good beginner Metroidvania for younger people or people who want to get into the genre. Graphically, it is quite weak, but the gameplay and the controls are all solid. I think I also played this on stream, and we were through in like a couple hours. It is very short, but also I think a very cheap game, or at least on Steam Summer Sale or something, it was very cheap. I guess for people who are not really used to Metroidvanias, it might be a good game. If they, of course, like the art style. The art style is very cute and very minimal. I would say to a degree minimalistic, you know. The level design is like really basic. Like, oh my god, I can literally feel like I see the blocks, you know, how in the level editor. But either way, you get a good game out of it, right? It's fun, it's nice. Call of Duty Warzone. So I'm not an FPS guy anymore, and definitely not a Battle Royale fan. So whatever I say about this game, take it or leave it. The loading times and the wait time between matches is just brutal. It is amazing seeing so many characters jumping out of the plane and into this big open map, but the wait to that point is painful and a waste of time for me because I usually die quickly. You know? If you suck, I guess. I'm sad. So a rough estimate is that 50% of my time in that game would be loading times and queue time to get into the next match, which is just sad. Also probably not appealing to some is a 100GB download, as well as the powerful PC you need to run this game at a solid 60 FPS. So yeah, Call of Duty Warzone is interesting in many ways. I am a Call of Duty fan. I played... I think hundreds of hours, I think 400, I don't even know, of Black Ops 2 back in the day, like many years ago. I would love to find another Call of Duty game that is like that, you know, very fast-paced, you know, because I'm not a fan of this whole Battle Royale thing of, oh, you died? Well, time to get back into the menu, queue up again, go into the loading time, and you, for some reason in this game, you have cutscenes before you jump in. It's like, why? Every single time the same fucking cutscene, just stop. So yeah, I'm really not a fan of Call of Duty Warzone. I cannot recommend it because of its giant file size and how it never properly ran in like a good FPS. Like it never like held something. It's like constantly going up and down, you know, which is really bad in an FPS game where you have frame drops. It's really bad. But I mean, if you just turn everything to, you know, lowest quality, it's like, oh, it's perfect. I run it in 100 FPS. Like, okay, cool, dude. But I also want to like see some good stuff. You know, I don't want to like look at Play-Doh graphics. I don't. I'm sorry. Either way, can't really recommend it. But if you are a Call of Duty fan and you are a Battle Royale fan and you may or may not have the PC, go check it out. It is free, so, you know, it's like checking it out takes, I don't know, just 4 weeks to download 100 gigabytes, maybe for some people. So just check it out, forehead. Just download the game. Chronicon, very fun ARPG with a pixel art style. If you want something more casual than PoE, but also something different than Grim Dawn or Diablo 3, you might like Chronicon. You can reset all your skill points whenever you want, can experiment with a simple crafting system to create some crazy strong weapons and more. Endgame is a bit meh, with repeating higher and higher difficulties to farm true legendary gear, but for the price, it is a steal. So yeah, Chronicon was actually on my radar for, I think, a couple months, because I saw a Path of Exile streamer play it, and I'm like, oh, this looks actually, like, really fun. And yes, it's very similar, I guess, to Hero Siege to a degree, but it has its own little twists and things, you know, and it's an ARPG genre, so everybody can change a couple things and make it different. Like, if you're into ARPGs, you like the pixel art style and all, I think the music was kind of good as far as I remember. Go check it out. I'm sure you will have some fun, but keep in mind, endgame wise, it's like, oh cool, let me repeat this over and over and over and over and over. Like, why? Jesus Christ. But I understand that not everything can be Path of Exile with its 100 different maps that you're running. So you constantly have, and they're all crazy randomized, you know. So I get that not everything, not every game can be like that. So take it as that. It's a very cheap ARPG with a nice pixel art style and lots of customizability. So Go check that out. I think it actually has 5 different characters. Was it 5? No, wait, no. You have one character and 5 different skill trees, and you can switch between skill trees. Something like this. So, you know, there's synergies maybe between them, or there are. So, pretty cool. Spirit's Abyss, another roguelite with a couple of random systems that you found throughout your playthroughs. Fun for a couple hours and cheap-ish. Love the art style, and it is quite difficult. An easier version of Spelunky, one could say. So yeah, it's similar to Spelunky, like very similar, but it's also easier. But, you know, Spelunky overall is like very, very punishing and very difficult. Spirit's Abyss can be like that. But if you're slower, if you look around, you know, if you take your time, it's not that difficult like Spelunky. But you know, it's a roguelite in the end, at the end of the day. So there's a little bit of a higher, you know, difficulty curve, I guess. Other than that, there are a couple of random systems that you find throughout your playthroughs. I don't want to spoil it too much, and I sadly didn't have this in the stream where I played this, but I played it again, and I think at some point you unlock certain areas. So you, for example, because it's all randomized, sometimes you come place a map that has like a giant stone wall, and you need to blow up this giant boulder, but you need 10 bombs at that time. So if you don't have them, you have to play through, you know, again and again and again to find it again. And then you unlock certain things, you know, new areas and all this. So it's actually really cool if it has nice replayability, right? To find every single area, to unlock all the things. There is some sort of system where you can have upgrades permanently, more or less. It's good. It's a really nice, solid roguelite, so go check that out if you like the art style, because I personally found it really nice. It looked really, really sick. Oh my god, how many games do we still have left? Okay, this is 26. Okay, we have 38 games or something. I don't fucking know anymore. Well, it's actually a lie. You know, it's Path of Exile again, everyone. Woo, it's Ultimatum. Fun league in which you activate a totem in a map instance and choose a reward. You can stop after one wave and get the reward, or continue on and get more rewards. But with each wave, it gets more and more difficult. So a nice balance between risk and reward. Music and the voice acting is also top notch. Ultimatum has not been added to the main game as of July 2021. So I'm not gonna like talk more about Path of Exile. Path of Exile is Path of Exile, and you have the Ultimatum League. A thing that people dislike in Path of Exile, which is, okay, how do we make Path of Exile more difficult? I just throw more monsters at the player, you know? It's like pretty much that, right? And they don't want this. They're pulling back. They're realizing this is not good. People don't want 20 enemies spawning and running towards you and like nearly one-shotting you if you don't have the damage. So they're pulling back on this a little bit. And that's why it's probably not added. But personally, I really love this. I really love having a really powerful build that just decimates through monsters. And Ultimatum was pretty much ritual, just better and faster. So you have this circle and you click this thing and it spawns monsters. So I don't even have to move properly, because anyways everything dies if you have like certain builds, right? It felt so good. God, I loved it. I played it a lot, but also at some point I got the build up to a standard and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's just at some point you're burning out a little bit, right? And I played a lot the previous league. Either way, it's very fun, it's very cool. I like the art style, music, voice acting. Perfect. I love the NPC they added, because he's actually smart, because he's looking at what you have done and what you're doing. So it's like, if you, for example, went to wave 3, the next time you see him, he actually mentions, oh, the 3-wave challenger. You know, he knows that you did 3 waves earlier and stopped because you were a pussy, and taunts you a bit. I love this. I freaking love it. I want more like this in Path of Exile. You know, the Path of Exile is like literally the game that punches you in the face and be like, okay, but here's a lollipop. You know, here's some loot. No, it's not. But God, I want more NPCs like that. It's so fun seeing in video games that they actually realize maybe where they are or what happened before. It's probably really difficult to program all these different situations, but I'm really happy they did. It gave him such a different feeling from any other NPC. Dungeons of Edera. I got a key to this game and it looked interesting, but after playing it, it is still very much an early prototype. Skip it, forget it, and maybe you will see it again in 2 to 3 years. That's it. Just Shapes and Beats, Refunded. Overall, a fun game with interactive cutscenes, so presentation is top, but the game overall is just not too interesting to me, and I don't think I will be enjoying it long term. If you're into rhythm games, then this game might be for you. Looking for Heals, Refunded. Basic ass roguelite that gets very boring very quickly. Click characters dozens of times to heal your group of fighters. No way to change the power of your heals, upgrade it, or even change it in some way. For example, a heal laser, an AoE heal, a heal over time ability, etc. Doesn't feel like it is worth playing for more than 2 hours, so I refunded it. Skul the Hero Slayer, Metroidvania, is in the tags, and it's kind of a lie in my eyes. I played it on stream and expected it to be a game with a story or at least something I can play through. It is not. Jump in, run through basic areas, kill enemies and get upgrades at the end. And that's it. There are many other roguelites that are much better. Alright, so we're starting to get into juicy stuff. Do I have coffee? I think I had coffee. Let me change the lighting now, okay? Now we're getting into the good stuff. Oh, yeah, I definitely shouldn't drink coffee black. Right. But I'm awake. Ah, another Jake Paul meme. Ah, okay, anyways. Foregone, a short Metroidvania-ish game that reminded me a lot of Dead Cells when it comes to combat and graphics. Takes about 5 to 10 hours to play through it once, depending on your skill. There is a new game plus, which makes enemies more difficult and make them drop better loot. Overall a good game, but it does need some quality of life features to make it feel even smoother. Salvaging dozens of items every 20 or so minutes gets quite old. Would be great if you could say salvage any item of rare or below rarity. That would be very handy because you do find low rarity items even later on. Either way, definitely worth grabbing on a sale. I like how my script literally says nothing about the game because I'm guessing you see anyways gameplay right now. It's a 2D Metroidvania to a degree. Some RPG system with a skill tree that is very basic, but it works. I think at some point you can like slot things into the skill tree to, I guess, like upgrade or just go a certain route. So that's cool. You have a huge variety of weapons. So you have like a big broadsword, a small dagger, a normal one-handed sword, and stuff like this. So, and they all feel different, and it's cool because you need to find the thing that feels good to you, you know, or that you can abuse to beat bosses, because this game is quite a bit difficult, I have to say. I died a couple times in some bosses. Some bosses took me like maybe 10 plus tries. I think the last one actually took me 10 plus tries. And yeah, it's actually really cool. I like the art style, I like the music, I like the worlds overall. It's a very nice variety of worlds. You probably see gameplay right now because I recorded that one. That's why 1440p. I can definitely recommend that game if you like Metroidvanias, I guess, and, you know, like to upgrade your things and you know, just have a skill tree in your game. And if you enjoy video games, play this, okay? If you like playing video games, buy this game. Cat Quest 2. A very fun game with a simple combat system and a huge open world to explore with lots of dungeons and side missions. In this game, you also have a new game plus feature which makes the enemies more difficult and they give more XP as well as gold. My first playthrough on stream took me around 10 to 15 hours, and I think I did a lot of side missions at some point to buff myself up for future story missions, as they can get quite difficult. Definitely worth buying if you're into the gameplay and if you like a quirky story with some fun dialogues. So it's very basic when it comes to just what you can equip and do and stuff, but it's what is here is a really nice, simple, fun RPG game, you could say, right? It's very fun. It's a giant world, really, you can like explore. It's especially later on. Yeah, I was so shocked actually how good that game is. Right? I was like, Cat Quest 2, I know, I played Cat Quest. That was really fun. Let's try out the sequel on stream. Wow. You know, I just dived right into it and I was like, oh man, I have to play more. I can't stop now. But yeah, replaying the game over and over and over and, you know, increasing the damage and the level of the monsters is like not really my thing. But either way, There's a lot of content here. You will have some fun, probably, if you're into, like, RPGs. Go check it out. But I have to warn you. I really have to warn you. There are puns in this game. A lot of them. Be careful. Travel safely. Geometry Arena. Yes. Big yes. Cheap, fun, and difficult. This game can get very punishing very quickly depending on the difficulty you can choose in the middle of playing the game. The gist of it is you play a type of spaceship. Each spaceship has a specific type of attack. Use that to your advantage to kill the enemies before they get you. You can get upgrades during your run, making you more powerful until you become a complete god. That is the point of the game. But you can increase the difficulty steadily to always have a challenge. If you die, you have 2 currencies to either upgrade your ship to get new ones or build and upgrade runes, which is a secondary system to make your ship stronger. So each run will reward you with something, no matter if you pushed hard or not at all. Personally, I still play more of Nova Drift than this game, but both games are very fun and this one is cheaper, so maybe give it a try. I think I'm not gonna add more of this. Geometry Arena, if you like what you're seeing on screen right now, go play it. It gets way crazier, and I think I streamed it briefly, and it gets insane the longer you're alive. You will have... It's amazing that the game even runs like on solid 60 FPS sometimes. I'm like, how is this possible with what's happening on screen? It's like neon explosion pretty much. It is so bloody cool, and the game is made, you know, so you become a god. But I like the difficulty challenges, right? You can just increase the difficulty right from the start. So if you're like, dude, I'm gonna go full difficulty right from the start, you can do that. You just can't go back. you either die or like you either survive or you die. You know. Also, it's really bloody cheap. Like it's really bloody cheap, and there are how many spaceships are there? I think there are 12 different spaceships, and then you have even extra modifiers on the side that. You know, you can say enemies are 50% faster, but you are also 50% faster, or everything is 150% faster and you're slower. You know, like those little modifiers you can have per run. You can just choose many, you can choose all of them if you, I think, want to maybe. But I think I had like 4 on and suddenly the game feels way more difficult, but also way faster and also way more fun. So there's so much customizability in this game for this amount of price. I'm like, the heck, is so good. Need for Speed Heat. Back in the day when I was a kid, I played Ridge Racer on the PS1 for many hours, so my love for racing games is big. On the GameCube, I played Need for Speed Wanted for probably 100+ hours, and many years later, I played Burnout Paradise on PC and loved it as well. Need for Speed Heat brought back the joy of playing a racing game once again. It is not without its faults, with its subpar menus, graphical glitches, and weird low polygon textures once in a while that make bushes look like they were taken from Minecraft, but the sheer amount of cars, customization, missions, and more is amazing. In addition to that, it has the most important feature, which is open world. So you can drive around and do whatever the heck you want. In this game, you choose to drive during the day or night. Day is your money-making time, and the night is to increase your reputation as a street driver. Depending on your level as a street driver, you unlock more cars, so you have to balance your playtime between the two. Missions during the day are a lot more varied, with sprints, lap races, off-road races, or drifts. Night is usually just sprints and maybe some lap races here and there from what I remember, which I personally appreciate, because sprints are fast, intense fun, and that during the night is perfect. How do you increase your rep? Well, either races or getting chased by the police, and dear god, the police doesn't play around in this game. They are very aggressive and will destroy your car by throwing more and more police cars at you, the higher your heat level goes. Heat level can be seen like the stars in GTA. The music is surprisingly good, and you know, I'm a little bit of a guy that hates music sometimes, you know, like, oh, I hate my pop and screw rap, bro, and it's like pretty much every song is like, yes, this is a banger, please more. I love it. About the graphics, well, you see it on your screen. I suggest switching to 1440p if your device and internet connection can handle it, but it is beautiful. The lighting in this game is just stunning how good it looks and how smooth it runs at around 60 FPS with my 2070 Super on max graphics settings. I played the game for 28 hours and got the game at around 50% off. Can highly recommend buying it on a sale if you're into racing games. I played it briefly on stream. I loved it. It runs butter smooth. I think it never ever crashed when I played it alone. Like, I think it crashed once during a stream, but that's because, you know, hardware has limitations, you know, lol. And like, it never crashed. The loading times are really nice. They could be a bit faster, of course, like everything, right? Like, you don't want to like sit on the screen and be like, I want to play it. But yeah, it's God, I love it. I really enjoyed my time with it. It's just 28 hours, which is surprising because it felt a lot longer. It just feels so good, you know, getting a car that is faster, and then you modify and make it even faster, and then you like drive around and have enough money to buy the next car and then buy this one, or buy the cars you really want, right? And or if you're an off-road guy and you're like, hell yeah, there's an off-road car, let me grab this, you know, play all the off-road races. Like, it's so good. I'm so happy that Need for Speed is still like this good, because from what I heard, like the last Need for Speed games were like, you know, ass or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just rumors. Either way, I'm happy I gave this game a try. I bought it. I played it. I really enjoyed it. But it's just 28 hours, right? So a full 60 euro game, I couldn't recommend it that way. Like, buying it full price, I personally am, you know, I'm a cheap bastard. I don't buy games when they're full price. But if you're okay with paying 60 bucks for 30 hours of fun, maybe go check it out. Shantae, Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition. I really hope I said that name right. A decent Metroidvania with a large variety of upgrades that change the look and abilities of Shantae. Reminds me of the old Wario games in which Wario transformed. Either way, it is an okay game. Graphics, sounds, controls, and everything is at a good standard, but nothing will really blow you away. It has many different modes in this edition, in which you can play with a variety of characters, but I wasn't really into that, so sucks for me. This game is from 2018 and costs 25 euros at full price, while Hollow Knight is still at 15 euros and actually has a world that is connected with each other, where Shantae has level or stages in which you get teleported in and out. I can only recommend the game if you're a Shantae fan and want to see how the story continues. I do want to try out the new Shantae game from 2020 though, so maybe next year. Loop Hero. You get cards that allow you to place things on a board that can synergize with each other depending on how they are placed. On this board, the hero moves in a loop over and over and over, and each round makes the next one more difficult. So sometimes it is best to return back to your town, or you lose a big chunk of what you just earned. You earn wood, food, and other items that you, and especially the town, really needs. Getting more cards is a bit difficult because you need a lot of resource to unlock more buildings, which in turn unlock more cards. So do not die on your runs. Don't be like me. No, just do not. If you die, you can just jump back in or change the cards that are in the deck, which can appear in the next run. There are in total 3 bosses to kill, and each stage has its difficulty and modifier. A very fun game that will grip you for many loops. Get it? With its great pixel art style and 8-bit soundtrack, I played the game for 25 hours. The game is available for 15 euros. Seriously, the soundtrack is goddamn amazing. Like, literally, just listen. I'm gonna play a little bit of the soundtrack right now. It's so good. I love it. Oh god. Oh, okay. Well, alright, let's get back. Oh god. No. Alright, time to talk about this game. Hades. Sadly, a disappointment. I know this is a strong word and I don't like to use it for this game because I really like the OST, the presentation, the voice acting, and the world it plays in. But at the end of the day, a game is only as good as its gameplay. No matter how good the cutscenes are, the soundtrack blows your mind, or how believable the characters are. The gameplay is key to any video game. Let me back off a bit. Hades is a roguelike game made by Supergiant Games, released back in September 2020 and was a huge success overnight. Hades is an action roguelike game with a variety of weapons, upgrades that you can choose between runs, and temporary randomized upgrades during your run in which you are trying to get to, Hades. The game focuses on the player's skill to advance further and to be able to use the variety of skills at your disposal, like a special attack, basic attack, cast ability, and more. Having to use all the skills at your disposal constantly and in the combo to deal the most amount of damage is the way to play the game. Having said that, pressing many buttons in quick succession over and over hurts my hands. So I decided to only use the basic attack and dodge, and maybe sometimes the ultimate ability that charges up. And here's the problem I have with the game. There is no permanent upgrade in the entire game that allows you to upgrade your basic attack. And that sucks because I want to get stronger. I want to feel like I'm working my way up. In Hades you do progress in many ways, but not the way I want and need to have fun with the game long term. And having no upgrade to increase my basic attack damage permanently, enemies do take quite long to kill, and that becomes very tedious every single run for the 10 plus hours which I played, and continued to try to like the game until I was just too bored and annoyed. I know there are certain temporary upgrades during runs that you can choose and combine that allow you to get stupidly strong. But these upgrades are temporary, randomized, and I've never seen them until 9 hours in. Also, you may not get those upgrades you need, so every run is an RNG fest. I appreciate Supergiant Games for making a very skill-based action roguelike, but I can't get behind their vision and had to stop playing the game. If you don't mind pressing many buttons and want a skill-based and difficult roguelike, get the game and try it out for yourself. Touhou Luna Nights. Touhou. Luna Nights. An anime-like Castlevania with time stop abilities and a mana/stamina system. I played this game on stream for 3 hours and finished it, I think. It is very short, I think. Maybe I missed something, but credits were running and so I thought I was done. Hoped for something bigger, but I can't recommend this game at full price at 15 euros. The final game. There's no video game after this game. No, jokes aside, really happy for this because it blew me away a couple weeks or 1 or 2 months ago. So here we go. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. I have no words for an intro for this game. This game is too beautiful with its huge world that varies from snowy plains to lush green forests to burning hot deserts. You will come across many characters during your journey through, well, where are we actually? This is something I can't say because the story in this game is very mysterious at the start until you push further into more and more dangerous areas. Aloy, the main protagonist, looks human, but why are there giant robo-dinos attacking us? And why are we fighting them with just bow and arrows? Like, this game is whack. Jokes aside, there is a lot to explore in this open world game made by Guerrilla Games, which was released back in 2017, exclusively on the PlayStation 4. The complete edition was released later that year, which includes the DLC Frozen Wilds. As a PC player, I am really happy to have played this game from the beginning until the end with my current PC. Visually, it was stunning, and as an open world fan, the game drew me in pretty much immediately. In 40 plus hours of playtime, I have seen pretty much everything the game has to offer when it comes to the main story, the DLC, and most items that you're able to acquire. So I finished the main story and did a lot of side missions, but there may be 1 or 2 side missions that I haven't played. I focused on progressing either the main story or side quests when I played, so if you're someone who plays slowly and loves to explore, you could easily get more than 50 hours out of this game. Let me back off a bit. I will dumb down the game so you get a sense of what the game actually is about. It clearly took inspiration from Ubisoft games. Like, I think nobody can deny that. Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, etc. Cutscenes, presentation, quest markers, RPG elements, Ubisoft towers, you name it. Am I mad? No. You steal what works and make it your own, and hell yeah, they made it their own. They put twists to a lot of things which makes the game stand out. In the end, it is still a game and it has to feel similar to what you played before. Otherwise, you may not want to play it. We humans are very dumb when it comes to that. If it feels too different, weird, or you aren't used to it, you're very likely to stop playing. I'm sure Guerrilla Games knew that, so they took the best and most interesting parts of things that work, added some things that make sense, and created this game. It was probably very far from easy, but they made an amazing game about a human that fights robo-dinos. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Robo-dinos. Graphics, performance, and the soundtrack are all great. The RPG system and skill tree can be improved upon. Better menuing would also be appreciated. With this said, I'm looking forward to Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel that hasn't been announced. I hope you will play the game and enjoy it as much as I did. I bought the game at $29.99 at a Steam summer sale.
I can feel her fever even in this cold. She shouldn't have been putting weight on this leg.
She is awake. Miss Outlander. You brought her here, Ikri? You think I went to the Nora homelands to find a spear to drive between us? I told you, the ordeal is mine, and mine alone. I will survive.
Which would you rather keep, Mylin? Your leg or your pride? Because I think you're gonna have to choose.
That's it. Thank you so much for watching my talk. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So those were like 37, 38 games. Path of Exile, you know, is like, anyways, let us say 37 and Path of Exile stuff. So a lot of games, some of them I think mediocre, some of them really got them bad, and some of them just, yes, please more. Funny enough, about a year ago I actually played Assassin's Creed Odyssey and had pretty much a very similar reaction to Horizon Zero Dawn, right? They're very similar. The gameplay is so fun in Horizon Zero Dawn. It's so good. It's just, I actually recorded way too much because I played a side story, which I didn't even see before. And I was like, oh man, I'm playing already 2 hours again. And I just wanted to record for 30 minutes. It's like, I get drawn into this world so quickly again. So I'm really hoping the sequel will come out on PC. Hopefully at the same time. Please, Sony, you want to make money, don't you? Please put it out on PC. Either way, Thank you so much for watching. For now, actually, this, I don't know how long this video will be. Ridiculously long. Thank you so much for watching until now. Write a comment with the games that you played and enjoyed this year that weren't on the list. You know, maybe I missed some games that are like, you know, like absolute bangers. You know, they're straight bussin'. I hate it. I hate this word. And I mentioned it many times. I'm streaming on twitch.tv/DanielBR93 since 6 years now or something, I don't know. So if you want to check that out, go check it out. And the last thing that everybody says, and I would really appreciate it if you, you know, like the video, if you liked it, then subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, or if you just want to see my stupid reactions to Path of Exile videos. You know, it's just, I don't know, just both, preferably both. Jokes aside, I've been recording for over an hour. I've been talking. My mouth is just all fuzzy. So I gotta go. Hope you enjoyed the video. I wish you a good weekend, a good week, and I will see you in the next video, which might be very, very soon, because, spoiler, 10-year anniversary on YouTube. Yup. 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years now. Gotta go. Bye. Bye-bye.